everyone who have already joined. And thanks to John for providing me the opportunity here to speak with you all. So about me, you all might be actually seeing me on a lot of LinkedIn posts and all. And those who are not aware about me, I will just share my screen. I will get started accordingly, and we can have a discussion throughout the session. And in my session, I basically believe people can be a little bit interactive. I love people with answers, questions, so that we can actually always talk to each other and get the best out of the session. Okay. So let me first share my screen and then we will get started.
Your screen is
Hope my
visible.
session, yeah, so my screen is visible, right?
Yes, yes, you can continue.
Okay, fine. So today's session, today's agenda, what we are going to talk upon is actually automation with intelligence, Agentforce, Apex, and flows. So we are already in the hype of this AI, right? So we are already going through a lot of AI sessions, a lot of things happening inside and around us. So mostly, I think most of you have already participated. There was a league which was conducted by Salesforce, which was actually based out of the Agentforce 360 League. So, how many of you did participate in that? Any answers will be actually expected. I will be waiting in the chat, or either you can uncomment and speak. Okay, quite a few, I guess. Okay, so you all attended the Agentforce 360 leagues where you actually got a chance to learn about Agentforce. You saw a lot of things about Agentforce. So, as we all know, the hype is already very real. We are already seeing people being actually able to use AI to the next level. Earlier, it was only about one LLM, and now we have actually moved towards multiple LLMs. We are having ChatGPT, we are having Claude, we are having Gemini, Grok. We are using a lot of LLMs. So that is where we are also trying to skill up with AI within the Salesforce automation system. So let's actually get into this. So about myself, as already John told, so I am a technology architect here at Cognizant, and I am also a Mumbai architect group leader. And I have previously been a trainer in the J2S, the Journey to Salesforce. Apart from that, I am right now a TIC ambassador. I keep visiting colleges, go and train them out. Okay. And apart from that, I go to multiple events for speaking. Some of them have been recently with TDX. Along with that, I visited Yardrim in Sri Lanka. So I keep on visiting places. So that's pretty much about myself. Talking about the agenda for today. So most of the things you all are already going through, but as I got to know that right now people are still learning and trying to get aware of it. So I am trying to keep it a little bit simple and then get started with the flow. However, I will try to maintain a little bit of pace so that it doesn't seems like you are going through repetitive things. It should look like you are actually at least understanding few new things if it is. Okay. So my agenda will be introduction to Agentforce, how to set it up, what are the types of agents available, topics versus actions. Okay. Demo use cases. We will be seeing them live. Okay. So that is the agenda for today. So before I get started, anybody has any questions regarding this or any other question? I will just
Until
take a
bro,
pause.
sorry for interrupting. Once you share the screen, can you make the screen as full screen? It is very useful.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So I am just pausing here for 10 seconds. Anybody has any questions before I start proceeding? Okay. I don't see anything on the board. So I would just start going in. Okay. So let's actually try to go through and understand everything about Salesforce. Okay. So with the Agentforce section which just came in. So what is Agentforce altogether? Agentforce, we are already knowing that since we are a part of this AI era, we are actually introducing agents. What is an agent altogether? An agent is basically someone like who can use LLMs to understand your natural level languages, and they can make decisions based on it. Now you might be thinking that there were so many things already coming up, right? So already Salesforce introduced Einstein bots before agents were introduced, right? So what makes an agent different from your basic Einstein bot? So an Einstein bot was something like which used to be trained with certain actions. Okay, you will be stating him that okay, these are the set of actions you are going to perform, and the Einstein bot will be always going through those set of questions only. Okay, but now suppose you want to have few more actions which it can understand by itself. For example, let's take that you are in the CRM system and you are working with opportunities. Okay, so I have been frequently talking to my Einstein bot. Okay, that create an opportunity for this detail, create an opportunity with this detail, and I am actually training him for a lot of information. Okay, but even though you have trained him for a lot of information, if it is an Einstein bot, the challenge will be that they will not be able to take new actions into them. They cannot have a memory. That is what the major difference used to be between your agent and your Einstein bot. Now, agents have actually got their own memory. By memory, what I mean is, for example, if you are working with an opportunities list view and you are actually looking for opportunities which are of revenue say more than 50,000, and you are always fetching that set of revenue based opportunities, okay, and you are working around with them. So what will happen in future when you ask your agent to give the opportunities, it is not going to actually uh, again go into the previous one and ask you the priority or ask you the revenue. Okay, that filter can be automatically added by the agent into their own system. That is where it becomes quite different. Okay, that is where its way of acting becomes natural. Okay, one such example also happened where in Dreamforce, that happened last year. Okay, and since then the hype has already increased so much. But I will actually talk about what we were shown at Dreamforce. Okay, so it was as simple as you are not going through the IVR system anymore, right? So if anybody on Amazon goes in and tries to talk to the customer agent, okay, the customer who is there or to the customer care, they will ask you to dial in the specific numbers to divert the directions. Either it has to go to the service support or a payment related issue or a product related issue. But now an agent doesn't require that. You can just ask the direct question and the agent filters the data by itself based on the actions provided to it. That is where an agent becomes quite different. Now, what are Agentforce altogether? If you can see this screen, so basically I actually call it as you can have multiple agents perform multiple actions together. Okay, it's not about one agent to do all the things together. You have now got agents for each and every sector. For example, you have got an agent for service agent, you have got an agent force employee agent, you have got agent force for setup. There are different type of agents which have been already brought in, and you can make all these agents collaborate with each other to create one big action. Let's think of a very basic action. Say I want an agent which first of all does a Slack onboarding for a user. Once the Slack onboarding is done and the user is created, the all the communications should be now directed to the Slack agent user for any kind of diverse communications. So, and based on the communication, it should redirect to another agent which can actually look into the services. For example, I am selling out some products, and those products need to be sold into the market. And for those products, I want to give the services of any kind of defects, issues. I want to handle those things. I can maintain another agent which can communicate with it. So it is more about acting of more agents working together. They can communicate with each other to improve your forecasts. Okay. For example, nowadays you have got Agent Force for sales. Now Agent Force has brought in the Agent Force for financial services cloud. Agent Force in your health cloud sector. So each and every sector which is coming up, they are coming up with Agent Force. Why? Because everybody wants to make sure that they can work with multiple agents together in multiple domains. They will already have a predefined set of actions and you can customize it as per your own need. Okay. Moving forward, this is a very basic thing which we are already seeing quite from some time. We are already knowing about what are the five attributes of an agent. We are already knowing what a role is. Okay, what the data is, what the actions, guardrails, and channels, and what is Einstein trust layer. Now, I will just try to segregate that in 1 minute, and then I will take a pause if anybody has any questions. Just hoping that everybody is aware of these things. If not, they can again ask the questions, and I will re-clarify it. So basically, any agent which is being built upon should be having what is the scope of the agent. Okay, what your agent should perform. That is where, when you try to define an agent, it first asks you what is the purpose of the agent, what is the description of the agent, and what is its main use case. So, why? Because the agent should be very clear of what you are trying to perform. Data basically comes in with grounding of your data. Okay, what does grounding of data mean? Nowadays you can ground your data within the agent force libraries. Okay, and agent force will only refer those data rather than going to the wider section of the search. For example, if I am giving them, say, 5 PDFs, I have got, let's take a very real life scenario. We are into hypercare support. Okay, what is hypercare support? Basically, whenever there is a production release happening, after that 2 weeks of production, hypercare support happens, where users are made to just make the application comfortable. Everybody knows the set of steps. Okay, now what I can do is I can set up my agent. What it can do is, does it have the necessary permissions, or what permissions do I need? Okay, I can ask this question to the agent, and agent will look for the grounded data which is there in the backend. Okay, and where does it store? It is actually stored either in your data cloud storage or either in your data libraries. Now, this storage can be easily accessed by your agent to give you the information. Okay, now this is where your basic way of filtering of your data happens. Okay, now suppose I don't want my agent to actually look into the wider segment of how an user is set up. I can just ask it to refer to that particular PDF which I have loaded in my library, and you will get the actions from it. Okay, actions are basically like whatever perform, whatever the type of you can say set of rules they should perform. For example, I want it to call a flow, I want to call it a apex class, I want to call a rest service into it. Okay, I want to connect it to Slack, so I have to define all its capabilities. Okay, those actions, those set of rules are nothing but actions within an agent. Then you have got guardrails. Guardrails are like what your agent shouldn't be doing. Why guardrails are important? Guardrails are important to limit your agent to the scope within which you are defining. If you are giving him scope outside of what has been defined, okay, then it is a breach of the security. And that is where we should always maintain guardrails in our system. Channels. What does channel means? Where should it work? As I told, an Einstein service agent can be used in your service sections. Einstein for sales has been predetermined and built for sales section. Okay, and you have got now Einstein for financial services cloud. So they should be knowing on which particular data section I am going to work on. And on top of all of these, we have got the Einstein trust layer. What is the Einstein trust layer? The Einstein trust layer is basically the zero copy data retention which has been maintained over this particular database. The entire agent lies on this zero copy data retention policy. That means it is not going to maintain anything within it. Everything has been protected by the Einstein data layer. So you can say everywhere, whatever the data it is getting, whatever the data it is trying to fetch, it always makes sure that it is a part of zero copy data retention and none of the data gets disturbed or breached. That is what Salesforce is actually known about. Taking a pause here for 1 minute, basically just to know if anybody has any questions here. Okay, so I see a couple. Is it possible to build an agent on email to case functionality? Once the email comes in agent, uh, can respond to that query based on the knowledge article provided by attaching the knowledge article. Yes, that is possible. That is possible in your email to case functionality. What you will have to do is just giving you a very high level idea in Barrage. What you can do is you build out your Agentforce data library. There you load out the knowledge KB articles, the knowledge vertical knowledge article versions. Okay, and then you can always ask your agent to refer to that library to respond to that email. And while responding, you can actually build out an Apex class, which will be an invocable method. Okay, that invocable method will take that particular email in the part of the email messaging service function. And what it will do is it will frame and attach that email to your action automatically. Now you can call that invocable method in your agent and automatically the action gets performed. Just a very high level idea which I'm giving on, but that is definitely possible. Any thoughts over here? Any questions so far? Anybody? Any questions? Just a 10 seconds break, and I will start continuing again. Can agents create records from email? Hmm. There is a possibility. What it can actually, what you will have to do is you will have to read out the email conversations, right? So you will have to actually perform an action which can be an API call, which can actually perform a call to your email services to read out emails. Okay, but that should be a possibility because you should be able to create records once your emails are readable. Okay, and once it is getting the context of the data which can be splitted and given to the agent, it can have another Apex action which can do a normal flow to create records. Ha. That is the more important question, that how does an agent comes to know that whether there are emails in the inbox. So you, that is where I told there has to be some email API service which should be available to make a call to understand the count of the particular email, or had a filter of is there a specific title of the email which you are trying to filter it with. Without that, it will be tough to identify. I have not tried that particular section, but we will definitely need some particular API via which we can do. So I have a public portal which is using Einstein search. Okay. And is it possible to replace the search box with Agentforce component to refer KB article and provide answers? No, this is actually not completely possible as of now. You will not be able to replace the search box directly. So in your experience portal, everything happens via embedded messaging. Okay, so via embedded messaging means you will have to build an embedded service deployment which has to be given out. Now, once your embedded service deployment has been built, via that you can actually ask questions to the agent and you can get the answer. But you will not be able to replace that Einstein search as of now. Hope that answers your question, Invaraj. Okay, now coming over to another question from Bamula. So just a small doubt. Let me say my organization has 3 email boxes configured to the customer, attaching all the 3 configured email boxes. The duplicate cases are getting registered in Salesforce side. So see, the agent cannot help on identifying duplicate cases directly until, as I told, you will have to have an API which can perform a call to read out this number of inboxes or number of mails which are coming in. If you are not getting, or you have to filter it via a particular title, then only the particular, or you will have to actually give a filter to the agent, something like there should be an API call which should filter by the created date. So if it is created date equal to today, then whatever the emails have been considered today, can be taken in. But if you are actually thinking of three different email boxes and then getting out the duplicates, it's better that you pull in that data within Salesforce and try to apply either a duplicate management rule, or you can actually think of an Apex class which can perform this action to analyze duplicates. That is a better option, not agents. Agents are basically given to you basically for performing other actions, right? So basically, you will be able to handle out your things. For example, any automations, flows, actions, any kind of your what do you call it as any kind of API calls, your Slack and all. That way, your particular automation is fine. But identifying all the email boxes at one go will not be an easy task. Okay. In your ADL, can we configure web search where search content is open from all portals? Yes, you can. So what you will have to do is you will have to actually take, say, but you cannot actually define the exact specific portal only, but whatever the articles of that particular portal is. For example, my portal has got 20 KB means knowledge article versions. Okay, you can pass those 20 articles only in your knowledge data library or your Agentforce data library, and it can only refer to that. That way it can actually take care of it. But if you are thinking that I want to filter it right from my agent to identify which particular portal, it will not be happening. Can we transfer from AI agent to human agent or button click rather than escalation and built-in service? Yes, that is possible. Yes, that is definitely possible. If you are having an agent, if the agent is already available, okay, you can actually see, you can actually allow it to make actions. And once the actions are done, okay, say, suppose there is a specific text or there is a certificate, you can say a certain limit up to which your data can be filtered upon. And then if that answer is already doing, you can have an omni-channel routing, which can route that particular agent to the human agent based on the higher approval. For example, just think that you want to have an approval management system that the basic approvals can be done from the agent and the higher level approvals can be done via humans. Okay, so you can have that omni-channel routing to route your cases accordingly. Can we identify the duplicate case once the case records are created? Yes, that is possible. You will have to just write down a basic method, an invocable method, which has to actually run in the backend to identify your case records and duplicates from it. You can actually do that definitely. That is possible with an invocable method. You just build an invocable method with input and output variables, call that invocable method inside your agent. That is going to take care of it. Okay. Sure. Okay, so now I will start moving forward. Any other questions? Can we block the duplicate case getting registered on the Salesforce system? Yes, why not? You can actually have your duplicate case, duplicate rules available, right? So basically, your agent will be creating the case, correct? And you can have a duplicate management system by enabling duplicate rules based on that particular parameter. So now, whenever that parameter is being provided to whenever that parameter is provided to the agent, okay, say I am actually creating a case which whose case title is defect on computer. Okay, so we can directly use the particular duplicate rule that can automatically detect your automation whenever your agent is trying to insert the records, and it will block it. Okay. Is it fine? Shall I move forward?
Yes, Nikhil. Thanks for answering all the questions. You can continue.
Sure. Okay, I will again continue back. So let's go back to our slideshows. And the next one is basically how do you activate and its licensing. Okay, so you have to always understand you can only enable your Agentforce when you are having the Einstein setup being enabled. Okay, so that is where you go into your setup. In your setup, you have to just search for Einstein setup and then enable your Einstein setup. Once the Einstein setup is set up, okay, This is how your Einstein setup looks in the background. Okay, you can directly turn it on. Once you turn it on, then refresh the browser, and automatically you will be able to see Agentforce Studio automatically being available. Now you have to go into your agents and enable that agent. Okay, so basically this Agentforce section comes in, and you will have to toggle this button. When you toggle this button and turn it on, if the org already has pre-built an agent, it will automatically show you. For examples, you are actually working on Trailhead modules, so you will be able to see your agent there. If not, you can directly click on a new agent button and you can start seeing your buttons accordingly. Apart from these two ways of building agents, or starting your agents, there is one more way of doing it. I don't know how many of you have actually seen through it, but there is something called as Salesforce Go, which has been introduced by Salesforce. And in your Salesforce Go, you can directly type in Agentforce, okay, service agent, or Agentforce for financial services, whatever the type you take in, and you can confirm. Once you confirm, it will automatically create your agent of that particular domain, and it will also set up your Einstein setup as well, and it will also turn on your agents. That is another way of turning on your agents. Okay, now when you turn on your agents, automatically you will be seeing the agents section. So let's actually see it in the org rather than seeing a screenshot. Let me go into this org, and this is my own org which I am using as of now, and today we will be seeing all things here. So let's go to setup, and let's see Salesforce Go. Do you see? This is Salesforce Go, and you can even set up your agent force from here as well. So if you see, it is setting up, and here I have already set up. Okay, I have already set up. That's the reason it is showing in this format. Else, you will be having an option to actually just type in agent force. So if you see here, when I type agent force, okay, so it will show you all the agent force for health, for IT, for manufacturing, for revenue, for sales, for service. Each and every section of agent force comes in over here. Okay, so all these sections can be available and you can directly enable it from here. Okay, now when you are going into your agents, that is agent force agent section, right? So if you see, since I created a new one, it is available. Since I have created a new one, it is available. Else, you will not be seeing this particular section available over you. Okay. And you can actually go into the specific ones. You can go into the specific ones. You can actually define what all decisions you want to have, what all details you want to pass to it, what its role should be, what its company should be, what should be the system managers, and what should be the language settings. You can actually take care of all of these within the particular agent itself. Okay. Now, apart from that, you also get the option of adding permissions. You can go to your any of the users. For examples, if I actually go under my users and say this is the main user which I am using as of now. Okay, so here, if you see, I have given him the permission of Agent Force default admin. If I do edit assignments, okay, if you see, there are few more. Access the access Agent Force default agent, okay, Agent Force service agent object access, secure base, agent user. These are also five more different services already available from them. You can directly use these services as a part of your specific license based agents which you are taking. Be it a service agent, then you will have to take this service agent one. If you are going with default agent, then the default one comes into picture. Else, if you are using a service agent user, you can use this from the particular part. Apart from that, you can also define the permissions on the agent itself by its filters as well. Okay. So I will continue and then I will come back again for some questions. Let me first complete few more pointers. If you see, these are the permission sets which I am talking of. Each and every permission set has got certain set of actions provided for Agentforce. You can utilize them, or if you don't want to, you can even create out your own permission set from the existing permission sets given for Agentforce and customize it as per your own rules. And you can give it. For example, if I'm going for integrations, okay, and now I want my external services to be called from Agentforce, I can build out a custom permission, building it as an integration user. And for that, only the objects access which it needs, we will only give those accesses to the permission set and to the Agentforce, so that when it tries to access the data, it will have only access to the particular profile level or the permission set level access which has been given to him. Now, talking about the type of agents, okay, again, you will be seeing, I don't know how many of things will be available here in my screen. But when I click on new agent, when I click on this new agent button, these are the several type of agents you see. Okay, each and every agent has a task. Okay, this is a channel expert, which is going to actually tell you questions related to this particular agent. Now, suppose there are predefined set of actions which has been defined for it. So when you will take this channel expert, it will automatically add those predefined actions and topics to it. If you take Slack employee help, it will actually take that Slack based, employee based certain actions which has been given. It will add those by default. You can customize them later, add or remove for your own need. Then you have got the employee agent. Okay, employee agent is basically for, you can actually say this is the one which will be used in the most of the times. Nowadays, the default agent is not being used. It's all about the employee agent which is available. Then you have got a flow automation agent. That means you can actually build out an agent which can work with your flows, specifically with your flows. Then you have got an agent for service agent. This is basically for any kind of customer support, any kind of inquiries, case escalations. You can use this. Then you have got an investigation agent where it will be basically checking out for activities for object level accesses. And you can ask this, that do you have access to this particular object, and it is going to reply you back because it has got an action which is going to do this action by pre-default. Then you have got a Slack onboarding. Similarly, Slack customer insights. These are helpful. Then you have got agent for setup. Since I have already used it in a very basic developer org, you cannot have more than one agent for setup, because agent for setup has a different set of tasks which it can perform. That is where it has been brought into. Its task is basically to check out for your object level access, user based access. How do you create a user? It will actually give you all those kind of steps. Suppose somebody is new to the org and he has been asked, "Joe, go and create a user." Rather than doing a Google, he can come to the agent, directly ask, "How do I create a user?" And it will actually guide him all the steps to perform. Okay. Similarly, you have got a security agent, which basically is used for, basically, this is your login history check, you can say. For example, let's take that your org is having a kind of unusual login. Somebody from outside your organization tries to log into the org. Okay, at that time, it is going to check those details. Similarly, it is also going to check what all telemetries, what all parameters you are giving to it. For example, the network access. If I am giving specific IP ranges within which the data should be actually allowed, or the org is allowed to log in, and somebody logs in outside of it, okay, then what is going to happen? It will detect that particular login and you can export those data. Apart from that, knowledge space agent is a special one which has been prepared for knowledge articles specifically. You can have your knowledge data libraries, your Agentforce data libraries to add your data into it, but you can actually take a knowledge space agent which will automatically take knowledge articles which is available in your org and filter out your data. Okay, so these are different types of agents when you see. Okay, so if you see, these are the different types of agents available. Okay. And then you have got two more options available here. If you see, create from template and create from Gen AI. Now, these are two things I can say. One of them is a little bit in beta, that is Gen AI mechanism. This is like creating an agent using your own model builder, using your own model. That is like using the existing LLMs, you can create out your new model, which will have your own parameterized filters. And based on that, you can create out your agents. Similarly, you can create out it from a template. By template, what it means is we have a predefined kind of agent already utilized, and we can actually just take those templates to take in the data, and based on that the agent will be created. That means, for example, I want my agent to take care of my code documentation. Okay, so we are already knowing the concept of, or we might have already heard of Agentforce vibes, or somebody might have already seen GitHub Copilot. But apart from that, you can also build your agent which can do your documentation quickly. Okay, it can actually do an analysis of your code and build out a document for you, explaining out the code. That is also possible. Now, before I move to topics and actions, I will take a pause again of 10 seconds to have questions. Yes. So, is Salesforce Go new option added to setup? Yes, that is true. You can directly utilize it for setting up any kind of agents. What is basically an admin? I didn't get the question. Might be I'm missing the context here, Puneet. Can you elaborate your question? Okay. Yeah. So it is an admin for you. So the sales agent, what it is going to do is, for example, when you take a sales agent, so as a part of your sales cloud domain, what do you have? You have actually got the option of performing your sales reports, your sales data, your leads which are coming in, the leads which are getting converted to opportunities. All those options are actually taken care, okay, by the sales agent with certain set of actions already predefined into it. It can perform certain set of actions. Apart from that, if you want some extra level of actions, that can be also done using the sales agent by adding your own actions to it. Any other questions? Is this agent for works on which clouds? Is this agent for suits for all the clouds? Right now, I would say it is almost for all the clouds. If you see here in my org, okay, I was just going through the setup, right? So I was talking about the setup here. So let's see the setup one more time. When you are going into Salesforce Go, okay, and you are searching for your agents, let it load. We will search for the agents. So if you see, I am trying to build an agent force, and if you see how many types of things have been provided, however, this is locked, you cannot use it. Default is available. Automotive was also there. These are might be a part of your license system. For dispatch console, dispatchers is basically for FSL. If anybody is working with financial, sorry, field service lightning, they can use the dispatcher console. Then you have got for the financial services, for health cloud, for IT service, for manufacturing cloud, for revenue cloud, okay, for sales cloud, service cloud, okay. So these are different type of things which have been given, and student goals topics, student advising, these are part of education cloud. So I think most of the domains they have tried to bring in agent force, and that is where nowadays they are calling it as agent 460, because they are enabling it now for each and every section, and this is now predefined. Now a normal sales org is not available anymore. Anybody who is going to buy an org in Salesforce, it will by default come with agent force for sales. Somebody buys a service cloud, it will always have an agent for service agent by default. Earlier it was a separate license altogether, now it is a part of the platform. Make sense? Any other questions? Okay, Puneet, you can actually ping me out. I have not actually kept a slide for it here. Actually, I will share you out the pricing model for Agent Force. You will have to understand the concept of flex credits, how flex credits basically work. Based on the flex credit, you will be able to explain how the pricing of Agent Force basically happens. Okay, nowadays it is directly available. Now, the developer edition contains sales and service called by default. Correct. That is correct, Bemula. And yeah, Agent Force Studio in app menu and setup. No, they are not the same. Actually, now if you have actually gone through your Agent Force League, okay, or if you have actually gone through the Agent Force Studio, they both are bringing in agents. They both are bringing in agents, but in a different context altogether. The first context which it comes with is basically the normal one which we are using as of now. We are having our agent force builder. We are building our agents, adding our topics, actions, and utilizing it. The new agent force studio in the app builder, which has or in the app has came in. This basically is the new form of your agent force, which actually follows expression based chats. So now Salesforce has introduced a kind of thing called as agent scripts. Agent scripts basically works on expression building blocks. Okay, that means instead of adding up 10, 20 lines or 5 lines of the same rule, you can directly have an expression chat script. That chat script can be given to the agent and it will understand that you are asking for those 4, 5 lines. So that is where a concept of agent script is there. That is how these two are different from each other. Make sense? Any other question? I'm liking it a lot. Everybody is asking a lot of questions, so I'm liking it. And good that I'm hearing so many questions here. No questions? Shall I start moving?
We are good, Nikhil. You can continue. Thanks.
Okay, sure. So now we are going to talk about topics and actions. As we were talking about our agents, okay, any agent which is going to work in the back end, any agent requires the basic data or the basic actions to perform. Right. So now what data and what actions comes into picture, that is what your agent is going to do upon. For example, now you might be thinking why topics, why actions? It can be only actions, why topics separately? Okay. So now the basic difference lies between them. There is a specific difference. Okay. Uh, Topics are actually collection of actions. Okay, that is where I was telling that an agent can collaboratively perform multiple tasks. Okay, for example, I want my agent to have 2, 3 different flows. I want to have, let's take a banking scenario. Okay, now I will go into the banking sector. Okay, the banking sector. Let's take, you are a part of a bank, or you are going to a bank and you ask for a loan. Okay, how is a loan allotted to a person? A loan is provided to a person based on the collaterals which he already has, right? So suppose I have, say, a single level entity. Okay, I have got a custom object called a single level entity. Why? Because I am the entity who is opting for a loan. So I am the single level entity. I will be first of all associated to an account. And what I want to do is, whenever a loan is being asked for, when I am applying for the loan, I should add my business process. What is my business all about? My collaterals, which is with me, based upon which my opportunity will be created, based on which my case will be created, and based on that, a case comment will be there. Now, if you see, this is a chain of actions to perform. That means if a SLE record already exists and you are actually clicking on new opportunity, that means you are asking for a new loan, you will have to, there should be a check. Does this particular entity already have some business process associated? Okay. If yes, show all those business processes. When you select the business process, does this business process has some collateral? What is a collateral? For example, if you are going for an investment, you are going to open a company. How do you open it? Somebody will be saying, what is that mortgage which you have for? You can say, I am a farmer, or my father is a farmer. I have a piece of land which can be utilized. Okay. So now that particular piece of land becomes your collateral. So that collateral will be added. So now based on these two checks, the rest of the data can be added. That means I have to do checks in the backend to check this data and then take on creating records. So I can have separate actions, right? One action for checking out business process, which shows with the list of business process and asks which business process are you referring to. When I select the particular business process, okay, it should have another action which should check for the collaterals which is available to it. From if there are nothing available, if a business also doesn't exist, if a collateral doesn't exist, directly you will create out an opportunity which will be going for an approval. If not, it will actually create an opportunity, but it will take details from the previous collateral values and then create out your record further. So I am adding multiple actions here, right? Every action has got certain work to do. First action was to check for business process. The second action is for your collateral. The third one is for opportunity. Fourth one is for case. Fifth one is for your case comment. Now, this is a chain of actions. Now, if I define 5 different actions separately, how will my topic or how will my agent know that which sequence I have to perform the actions on? Okay, so I will define one particular topic within which I will add all these actions together. Okay, when you add these actions together and assign it to the agent will start following the sequence. It will first check whenever the LLM is being asked for the question, it will first check which data does this action go to, either the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and multiple actions can be collaborated together. That is how actions become different from topics. Okay, that is where you have got, when you go into your Salesforce setup, you have got Agentforce assets. When you go to your Agentforce assets, you will see the option of topic and action. Okay, if you see them, they are again defined into two types. One is a standard action, one is a custom action. Okay, what are standard actions? Standard actions are basically like, for example, whatever has been provided out of the box. Okay, if you go to your org, when you have enabled an agent, automatically some of the actions are already available into it. We will be seeing that in the org as well. And they will have a tag called as OOTB, that is out of the box. That is, they have provided them as standard actions. And if you are not finding your action within those particular standard actions, that is where you will define your new action, which is called to be a custom action. Okay, so now the standard actions, as we know, they are your standard ones which are available from Salesforce. Custom ones can be either from Apex classes, it can be from flows, it can be from external systems, it can be from MuleSoft, and it can also be from prompt templates. Okay, these are different ways of performing your action calls. Now, this is how your basic screen looks like when you are going into your Agentforce builder. Okay, in this Agentforce builder, we will be talking about details about all of these sections live in the agent itself. But if you see here, all the topics have been defined over here, right? All the topics are there. And if you click into any of the topic, it will have certain actions within it. You have to just take those certain actions and perform. You can add or remove, you can add more actions and then utilize it. Okay. So before I move into this, let's go into the org and see this. And I will be doing a little bit more talk over that particular section. Let's see what all things we have. Okay. So let's cancel this. Let the two agents come in. I take Agentforce default. So now I do open in builder. When you click on open on builder, this is actually called as the Agentforce builder. This is what the screen which I was talking upon. So now if you see, when I've defined this particular agent, if you see, This is the topic. That means you can add your topic. Okay. You can add it from the agent asset library. How do you see this agent asset library? What is it performing? You can even click here to see what is available. Or what you can do is you can even type it here as assets. If you go into your Agentforce assets, if you see general CRM, user investigation, account management, all of them have been marked with out of the box. That means what? Whatever the section we have created, okay, these are available directly from Salesforce. You can directly use them, not only in topics, even in actions. When you go in, there are certain actions. If you see, one or two actions are actually added by me, but apart from that, if you see, all of them are standard. All of them are standard, means provided from Salesforce directly. Okay, now once you have defined your topic, once you have defined your actions, a collection of actions together, then you have got the data section available. This is called as your data library. You can build a new library from here. Okay. Or you can even go to your setup and type for Agentforce data library, and there you can add your library details, be it PDFs and all. So what happens is when you actually add a PDF and all to it, it actually gets the concept of IntelliContext. There is a retriever index which they basically use for retrieving the data from the PDFs. Once you have grounded that data, when you add into this data library, gets useful when you are asking for the tasks to be performed by the agent. The third one is basically the context. So if you see, there are standard variables already provided. Okay, you can have different variables, okay, for performing different actions. Okay, and those variables can be added as filters which you want to add. Now, these we will be seeing in our upcoming sessions later on sometime. Right now, we are focusing on understanding what these things do. But variables are basically like to make it more dynamic with particular filters and variables. Filters will be actually allowing you to add different conditions. Based on those conditions, for example, if you see, these all conditions can be used and then they can actually filter out your data only based on these filter conditions added to them. Understood? Then you have got language. You can have multiple languages available. You can add multiple languages and your AI will take care of the rest. Okay, you can add multiple languages and you can even do select all language options. Okay, then there is an option. If you see on the screen, let me go full screen to show up. So if you see, there is an option casual, neutral, and another one is also there. So three options are basically available. Okay. So all these three options are basically being useful. We basically use the casual tone because it is more easy to understand for the LLMs. Then you have got events. A very interesting thing in this particular agent. This event basically is for capturing what kind of automation you are trying to perform and what is the flow of it. For example, whenever I start my agent, each and every time I start my agent, for example, if I go to my agent, okay, I do a refresh, I applied a refresh, I come back here, I do a refresh. You see, a new session gets available here, automatically getting added. And this will actually tell you what is your session ID basically doing. So you can even understand your flows from these event logs which are getting generated. For each and every action, there will be a session ID based details which will come in. You can easily call that and you can check it out. Okay. Now, apart from all of these, there is something called as batch test. This is basically a part of your testing center in your Agentforce. Okay. So what does your testing center do? If you want to see how accurate your agent is, you can directly use the testing center. Okay, you can build out a CSV or you can even ask your testing center to generate a CSV to check out the accuracy of your agent. If your agent is accurate by more than 85%, it is a good one to take forward. Okay, taking a pause here and wanting to know if anybody has any other questions. Before I move to the demo part, I would like to actually have some questions from you all. I will wait for 10 seconds and then I will start moving to the demo part. There are two demos. We have a flow, we have an Apex to discuss upon. Okay. And why, where, we will be seeing that in detail. Why do you need to, okay, why do you need to add menu items like your Einstein bot? Okay, you can see in your Einstein bot you have got a different way of working. Okay, it has got a certain set of instructions, whereas your service agent works on LLMs, it has its own memory. So why do you need to mix both of them together? You don't. You can define your own actions within the service agent, which will be even better than your Einstein bot. Do we have any access for Agentforce, or please? Okay, I will try to actually get one. Okay. I think Trailheads definitely provide some orgs. If you are doing some Trailhead modules, you can directly get some org available. Okay, I will see if I can get you one org from there. I can give you the link if you do those particular ones. That will be actually, yes, that is for limited period. Let me see. You reach out to me. I will see if I can actually have an org which doesn't expire. I will check for that and I can let you know. Now, one more question from Puneet. Is this agent using Salesforce lead contact account data? It is just reading the data as per what I am defining it in its instructions. If I actually stop it, it will not. And if I have multiple agents working on the case, do we have any order of execution? No, it's not like that. If you are actually calling multiple agents together, that is where you can actually, that is where headless APIs are coming into picture, that you can actually call one agent from the other, and the other agent will automatically call the next set of actions within it. Okay. But it doesn't have a standard order of execution. You can make it happen in that way. Does session store in message session object? Yes, that actually is getting stored in the message session object. Correct. Data library, will this data automatically fetch from any other external system? So as I told, if you're using data cloud, if you're going for a CRM connector and you're trying to actually do the data grounding from that particular connector, it will actually fetch that data from there. Else, if I actually load my own PDF, my own Word documents, so what happens is any PDF, any Word document gets converted into a RAG file. It is a RAG file altogether. So that RAG file will be actually having a retriever index based upon which it will read the data. So more often people actually like to have knowledge article versions directly added within your Agentforce data library. Or you actually add your data from the data cloud and that becomes your center of data. Okay, so you can even do that way. Both of them are fine. Good enough?
Yes, Nikhil, we are good. We can get it. Thank you.
Okay, so I will take a pause there and I will start moving forward. So any how to get it done? Uh, Okay, you reach out to me. I will actually tell you how to actually store the sessions. I actually know you can actually write down a flow. Okay, what you can actually do is in the flow, can actually call the message session. And from the message session, whenever an input variable is taken in, you can create a variable which can store that particular data from your event session log into this message session. And that particular variable can be then assigned into some particular record and you can retrieve it. That is the right way to actually do that particular values out. Okay, sure. Okay, thanks everyone for the questions so far. So I think you all are already liking it so far. So I will take it forward. And from here, it is more about a demo which we are going to look into. Okay, so I am right now just going into the first demo. So my first demo is basically about flows. I am actually going to have a very basic flow. Okay, what this flow is going to do is it is going to fetch me the open cases and show me as a list in the agent. Okay, that is what this particular flow is going to do. It is not going to be apart from anything, but it's a very basic flow just for your understanding purpose. Always understand any agent only works with auto launch flows. It doesn't works with record triggered flows or any other flows. It basically works with your auto launch flows. Why? Because anytime when you are working with your agents, they look for an action which can be fired from the agent itself. Okay, and that is where your auto launch flows comes into action. And you have to always understand that your any flow which you are building within your Salesforce, they will always require an input variable and an output variable. Without that, that auto launch flow is of no use for the agent. The input variable, basically what you are providing, the output variable, basically for what you are going to display. Okay, this is the mandatory thing to happen for your flows. So I had just built out a very basic flow. We will discuss that flow here. Okay, and then we will try to see what we did here. Okay, so let's go into this particular flow. So I have taken a auto launch flow here. In this auto launch flow, I have done a get records. Within this get records, what I have done is I have taken the object and I have given two particular priorities. Okay, I have given two conditions. One, status should not be equal to closed. That means I am only trying to fetch all the open cases. Okay, and priority should be equal to an input priority. Okay, this is a variable which I have created basically for my input variable. What this is doing, let's see that as well. So there is an input priority which I have created of type text and I have made it available for input. That means I will be actually fetching my cases based on a particular priority and status. Okay, so I made the particular priority to be an input text for us. Okay, then once I have done this, once this is done, I am directly using an assignment variable. Whatever the cases I got returned from it, I have also done one more thing here. I didn't discuss about that. So I am taking all the records and I am just choosing which all fields I want to show. So if you see, I have taken three fields over here. One is ID, the second one is case number, and the third one is priority. Okay, just to get that particular list. Now I go into an assignment variable and I am assigning the values. Okay, here what I have done, I have taken another variable. I built another variable called fetched cases, which I took of type record and I allowed multiple values to be taken in this collection. And I took the object as case and I made it available for output. That means what I did, the first one was for my input. That means my input will be my priority, which I enter, and output will be the list of cases which I am trying to get. Once I declare this variable, what I am storing in this variable, I am storing all the cases which I actually got from the above action. From this action, whatever the cases I received, I just added them. That's it. And then I just activated the flow. Once this flow is activated, now what I am going to do? Now I am going to add this to my agent. So what we are going to do, let's see that. So any other place where I've kept the agent open. Let's do it from here. So I will refresh the browser. Okay. And I will get started. So as I told, we will have to either create a new topic or either we can directly call an existing topic and then call actions within it. So let's take an topic here, new topic. When you define a new topic, the first one is optional. You can just say, this is for agents, cases, details. That's it. It has just giving some basic idea. Now, when you do this, it will actually ask for the name, the topic. So fetch priority based open cases. This is my name. What is it doing? The agent should fetch all the open priority based cases. Scope, it should only take care of case records. I can add instructions to it. If I want to, I can add some instructions. Or if I don't want, I can even. So I am just giving one instruction as of now. Read, ask for the priority before giving back the results. I've just given a basic priority. I can add multiple instructions. I have just added one as of now. Okay. I can give it a sample input. Okay. What my example can be. If I don't want to, even don't give back. That is also fine. Now you will have to do next. When you go on next, it will ask, do you want to add any actions? So if you are having a lot of actions here, you can add from there. Or if you have created your own action, you can even call it. Okay. As of now, I'm not adding anything to it. I'm just going to click on finish. Once I click on finish, I will now go to this particular topic, and this topic's actions I can click upon. And here I will do new, and I will say, either I can add it from the asset library, I can even add it from the agent exchange, or I can even add it as a new action. So I'm going to do new action because I created a new flow for myself. The reference action types needs to be defined. I will take as flow. Then if you see, the second one is the fetch cases list. So I will take that. I will do next. Now it will, so I will just say agent needs to provide all the cases list. That's it. I am taking a loading text. If I don't, I can just uncheck this for now. I don't need that as of now. Input, take the priority as input. I am just making it require input. Status data, take status. I don't require the status data, but I'm just giving some values as of now because I have no work of this for now. I have just built this variable, so it is available here. Else, if you don't have this, that is also fine. These are different variables which I have just built in. If I delete these variables, this will not be available over here. For output, I have just taken fetched cases, provide list of cases, show in conversation, and object rendering will be object because this is an object type of variable. And I click on finish. So my action gets added over here. Now I will refresh my agent and I will try to say, let's see, hi, can you provide all high priority open cases? So it starts checking and it's asked the priority. Okay, it automatically started the fetch priority. It is actually calling the actions and it is trying to check. So it is asking for the priority. So let's say high priority and open status. Let's see what it does. So if you see, it was trying to read out, but it didn't find any record since there is no cases matching the specified criteria. So they couldn't find the records, and it will say retry fetching high priority cases because it didn't get any records in the backend. If it finds the record, it will automatically give you those results. And how do you understand the flow? Whether it is working fine or not, see which instruction it took. It checked for the priority, it checked for the action. This is the flow action. And based on that, it is taking the status, it is taking the output. Since there was no data, if you see this fetched cases data array is empty because I don't have any open cases. That's the reason it couldn't return me the output. Okay. So, any doubts so far? Anybody has any questions before I start showing you another example of epic? I will take a pause of 1 minute and then I will start proceeding again. Will this run a loop? Yes, it will automatically, right? Because what will happen is when you are performing this check, it is going to go inside the flow. The flow will be looking for the action, and when it will find for the particular loop for getting the get records method, if it doesn't get any record, it has to loop through all the records and get you that detail, right? If it is available, it will actually return you the detail, else it will not. So definitely there is a loop which is running in. Yes, all the things apply here as well. Okay, all the CPU limits, your DML limits, all apply here. Okay, because they are from the governor limit side, right? They are a part of your multi-tenant architecture. You cannot avoid them. Okay, so there is no way to avoid those. Can we test the open cases which are in Salesforce database? So let's see, do we have any cases here or not? Let's see. I will try to see. So if I see there is a case which is there, but its priority is medium, let's turn the priority to high as I was looking for a high priority one. I have updated it. Okay. Let's again go to the agent and see how accurate does the work does. So I will reload it and I will again ask the agent. So I refresh. Let's see what it does. So priority level. So high priority and open status. Let's see. So do you see the case which was with high priority with the particular case number comes to your screen. Okay. So this is how your basic actions happen. If you have the record, it is going to perform the action. It is going to show you the action here. It is going to get the details. You can analyze this JSON and you can understand what you are trying to fetch. Make sense? Got an idea? Any other questions? Okay, perfect. So I will start moving to the next and the last part of it today, which is the Apex side. Okay, the same part, the same thing, but we are going to just add a case comment now. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to add a case comment to this particular case record object. Okay, so for that, what I did was I basically created out an Apex class. Okay, so I build out an invocable method where I give the label as add case comment by case number. And I have actually built out two things. One is a case comment response, basically for getting whether it is success or not, what is the message I am passing, and the case ID. Whereas I have also created another FX method, another wrapper, which is holding out the case number. Okay, and then it is also holding out the comment body. What kind of what kind of case comment you are trying to pass? Okay, that is the comment body. Okay, then what I have just done is I have just called this case comment response. Okay, within which I am inserting the case comment. I am using the standard case comment record, attaching the case ID in this parent ID, attaching the comment body, and then I'm just making it is published true so that it automatically gets successfully added. And I'm adding a message saying case comment added successfully to the case. If not, it will say failed to add comment. A very basic class. Now, as I told, anytime you will require an input variable and an output variable. So I am going into the input where you will be passing the request. Your request will be actually taking the case number and the comment which you want to pass. Whereas the response which I will be getting is whether it is success or not and comment added successfully. This is what we are going to do now. Okay. So let's again go back to our agent. Let's try to add another action to the same agent. Let's go to the particular topic, take a new action, create new action, apex, search your apex, invocable method, search for the X, and you see add case comment by case number. I take this and I do next. When I do next, few details automatically comes in, like adding a case comment to the existing case using case number. I will uncheck this for the loading symbol. Case number, just the Salesforce case number. Instructions, which is the comment body, I am making it as require input. Whereas the case ID, I am not actually showing the case ID in the conversation. If I want to show, I can even show that. And the other one is basically the message. So let's see whether it is show in conversation, and I will do show in conversation, and I will do finish. So there are some required fields which are missing. Message, show the comment, and then whether success or not. Okay, and I click on finish. What is missing out now? Anything? Okay. Provide case ID and click on finish. So your new action gets added over here. As soon as a new action gets added, just do a refresh so that now you want to insert a case, right? A case comment. So let's take this particular case. This is the case number. Okay. And I will go to my agent and I will ask it, create a case comment for case number this and enter. So it will ask what is the comment you want to give. Okay, so let me add a case comment, test data successfully added, and enter. So it will try to perform your action and it will say the comment has been added successfully to this case, and it will give you that case detail because now the case has been updated. Okay, and it will say test data successfully added. Now let's go back to the case and let's see whether it got the data. If you see, test data successfully added. This was the comment we added and it automatically performed the action in the backend. So this is how your topics and actions basically work. If you see, I had got two actions within the same agent, right? I provided two actions. It first of all checked for your particular case comment what you want to add. And since I am actually asking it to display the case number, so it gives me the case number, it gives me the priority and the status because of the fetch case list. Okay. And since I actually shared it as show conversation true, it was Boolean. So if it was a failure, it would have said false and it would have said it was a failure to add the case comment. Clear? Anybody has any questions so far over here? Anybody has any questions, or everybody pretty clear with what we did? Let's take a pause to hear out. Yes, you can. Nowadays, you can enhance your UI. Now, your agents have been actually, you can invoke LWCs within your AI, in your agents. Okay, so basically, there is a concept of custom lightning types which has been introduced. Using that, you can even invoke LWCs and you can enhance the UI of your agents as well. Okay, nowadays, you are only seeing right now list views or very simple lists coming up, but you can enhance that view with lightning types and you can actually build out your own form, your own look and feel. That is possible. No, you cannot. As I told, screen flows are not going to work here. I told you, you can use a lightning component. You cannot use a screen flow. You will have to always go with auto launch flows only, because your auto launch flows will be giving you an option of having an input variable and an output variable. And it will not require any other action to fire. You cannot have a screen flow directly. Clear? Any questions? After creating an invocable class and action, after that, if I add or remove any invocable variable, I have to create a new action. Yes, basically, it will not take that predefined action which you had created earlier. So, better delete that existing action and create a new one, because the reference was actually of the previous one. Hope you all liked the session. Hope you all got to know a few things, some helpful pointers from my end. Although you all are learning, I see everybody is learning it. I hope it has been helpful for you all so far.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you for the informative session.
Sure. Okay.